Hey, Transplant Helper community, my name is Jim Merle. Welcome to the program. Today we're going to be talking for just a few moments about one of the most common heart failure / pre-heart transplant drugs that you might be placed on via an IV or PICC line leading up to transplant, and that is the drug Milrinone. Now, if you're not exactly familiar with what Milrinone is, basically it is an intrathrope, if I'm saying that right, but it is a drug that causes your heart to be able to squeeze a little harder, therefore ejecting a little bit more blood, putting a little bit more blood flow through your system, and hence taking away some of the heart failure symptoms. Now, typically, you're not going to be placed on this drug unless you're already kind of at stage 4 level heart failure, that sort of thing. But if they place you on the drug, it does give the potential for increasing energy, decreasing fatigue, and even allowing you to breathe a little bit better, okay? Sometimes we get short of breath, that sort of thing with heart failure, and that could be fluid-based. It could be based on just the fact that your ejection fraction and other levels are so low that the oxygen is not getting through your bloodstream. So putting you on Milrinone is one of those drugs that can help to relieve some of those symptoms and increase the ability for you to be mobile, okay? And that's kind of a catch-22 there, because if you're in stage 4 heart failure, typically your ability to be mobile and to exercise and to stay functioning is not very high, and they really need you to do that. You really need to be trying to get a little bit of exercise. Being cautious about it, and I know your doctors care, but you need to be trying to exercise. So this is one of those drugs that makes it possible while allowing you to have the energy to do it, okay? That's kind of what it boils down to. Now, more times than not, before the doctors are going to place you on Milrinone, they're more than likely going to also place in your body an ICD / defibrillator / pacemaker type device. And the reason for doing that is because Milrinone can oftentimes cause some pretty severe arrhythmias. Now, hopefully it won't, but it can cause some arrhythmias. Atrial fibrillation is the most common. VTAC or ventricular fibrillation is another. PVCs, other problems that you may already be dealing with as far as rhythms go, but they're going to go ahead and probably place one of those devices first and then turn around and add the Milrinone as an IV type drug. Now, as far as the Milrinone use itself, typically this drug is going to be infused into your body on a 24/7 basis. They're not just going to put doses in. They're actually going to put you on the medication and leave you on it for a period of time. Typically speaking, it's going to be placed into your body through maybe a PICC line in your arm or maybe a central line somewhere along in the chest, that sort of thing, because the drug is a little bit rough on your veins and vessels, and so it's probably not going to be something that they're going to run through a typical IV, albeit if you're in the hospital where that IV might be moved around a good bit, they may use it there. But the good news is this is the type of drug that at most levels you can get on it through a PICC line or something like that, and to be sent home while you wait for transplant and while you're on the drug. Now, if you do that, you're going to need probably some home health care, not for the fact of managing the medicine necessarily. You'll probably be able to do that along with your caregiver. But as far as changing the dressings, keeping a check on the PICC line sites or central line sites, whatever, going to be some home management right there with home health care. And that's going to be very important. So keeping that clean, just like for any medication that's being put in via PICC line, that's a big, big deal. But Milrinone is a good drug. It is a very handy drug. I know when I first got on Milrinone, and I was on it for about 10 months, but when I first got on Milrinone, it really kind of gave me that shot in the arm. There's no pun intended in that, but it really kind of gave me that energy, that boost that I needed. Now, while it is causing your heart muscle actually to squeeze harder, it's also dilating certain vessels and veins and arteries in your body, allowing the blood to flow through your body a little bit more freely, and again, to help to get that oxygen throughout your body and help to decrease some of those symptoms that you may be dealing with. So pretty good drug overall. The thing that you need to know about aside from that, however, it is also considered a short-term use drug. And by short-term, I mean that it's going to be used probably under a year. They like to keep it under a year because while it's helping you symptomatically, because it's kind of overworking your heart muscle, it could be doing some damage at the same. But it is a drug that kind of bridges you over to the next step to transplant, that sort of thing. Now, an extra bonus to that is really good news, and this is rare, but it does happen, so I'm trying to encourage you here, is that sometimes patients are placed on Milrinone And then after the Milrinone works for a while, their body kind of resets itself, readjusts, and then they're able to come off Milrinone and maybe even not need the transplant. Okay, so it could be a really good thing either way. But it's a drug that might be common. You might hear about it, and that's what it's going to be about. You'll oftentimes notice people who are Milrinone because they will be dragging an IV bag, IV/pump around with them everywhere they go. And mine was like in a fanny pack. So I was like classic 1980s look at best. But you get used to it. You learn to hide it, to kind of keep it out of sight most of the time, just so you don't have to deal with the questions. I hope this has helped you to understand Milrinone just a little bit. Other drugs that are like that are going to be much the same. It's a drug that can help you out and one that can give you some strength and energy. If this helps you out in any way, how about go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Consider sharing it with some of your friends who might benefit from it. And consider subscribing today. Hit that big subscribe button right beneath the video. We're just about across the 2,600 mark. And so if you want to help push me on over 2,600, that would be great. But thanks again. Till next time, stay stronger, friends.